I see you. Let's get it. Patrick, let's get it. A beautiful Memorial Day weekend and another Bet Out of Debt show. We have Patrick here, and we have a special guest that we have been trying to get on the show for a few weeks now. We have Mr. Tim Brown joining the show. He is our crypto expert. And Tim, I just want to say welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Welcome, Tim.
So you guys,
Thank you very much.
You guys know Patrick. You know, he is an accountant for a prestigious firm out in Los Angeles. You know me, Troy Johnson. But Tim Brown is a guy that has been in the crypto space for quite some time. So I wanted to give Tim an opportunity to introduce himself, tell us where he's from, tell us what he does for a living, and how did he get into crypto? I want to get right into it. So, Tim, you're up.
Thanks for having me. I want to give a shout out to Shannon Allen and Isaiah Jackson. He wrote the book Bitcoin and Black America. Just wanted to say shout out to those guys for helping me with my journey. So I work for CBS Viacom. I'm a videographer. I shoot news that's related to local stories and also national. So basically, I work with the mayor's office, I work with the governor's office, and I work with a media pool here that assigns me my duties. And so I go out and I shoot stories that are related during the COVID crisis right now. So what they basically have done is split up the job responsibilities, and we're all sharing them as a TV stations. So each TV station, instead of sending 10 crews to one event, we just send one. And that's the way it's been working for like the last year and a half.
Okay. So Tim.
Yeah.
Where does crypto get its value from? I mean, crypto is, I'm a stock guy. I'm an options guy. One of the things I struggle with is where does that value come from crypto? So how is that determined?
I think the value of crypto is determined by the technology that's being used. So I think technology plays a big part in the currency and the value of the basic belief system. Basically, do you believe that what it's worth? So the information and the technology is what is behind crypto right now.
It looks like Tim has a dog in the background.
Oh, it's not me. That's not me.
Is that you, Patrick?
Yeah, that's me. I didn't realize he was such a loud drawer.
That's all good. Go ahead.
Somebody was just trying to call me.
Yeah, it's all good, Tim. Go ahead. So the value comes in the technology. Okay, so how does one value technology if that's the case? How do you put a dollar amount on technology?
Because technology keeps going at a very, very high, very, very fast rate. It's like the technology has to be worth something because of what it's able to bring to the table. This has created a whole new industry that didn't even exist 10 years ago. So out of nowhere, this technology has been put on our doorsteps, and we're just now opening up that Pandora's box and finding out what to do with all this information.
So how long have you been in the crypto space?
Mhm.
What really got you into the crypto space?
Well, one of the things that actually got me was the potential of financial freedom, in which you could actually move money around uh, in a digital, in a digital form. And one of the biggest things that got me was it was called Silk Road. Silk Road was it was like Amazon back in the day, but you could get a lot of things that you couldn't get on Amazon on there. So it was a lot of weapons and drugs and all kind of crazy stuff. But the thing that caught my attention was how how they were paying for these things, and they were using something that was called Bitcoin. And Bitcoin was used as a transaction on this particular website to buy and purchase all this stuff. And people really had a hard time understanding what that was, because it was a new form of digital currency. And when you're talking digital currency almost 10 years ago, it's like, what? But it found a home on this particular platform. And that's where people really began to use it um, in a in a marketplace.
Okay.
And the guy that actually created Silk Road, he got double life sentence. So he's the feds put him away for a long time,
Okay.
because they don't want that information getting back out.
So I guess my question would be, just kind of being a stocks guy, I can use fundamental analysis for stocks. So I can literally look at a company and say, and we have talked about this on other shows, but I can look at a company and say, looking at the financials from 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21, looking at the charts and using the Bollinger Bands, and the 200-day moving average, I could project that a company is going to grow. Hence, its stock is going to go up in value. Hence, I can make money if I purchase that stock today. And then in the future, it would be worth more because we pay for growth. And we spent a lot of time last week talking about the PE ratio and growth and how to assess that. How would one do that with crypto, and why crypto over like stocks and bonds?
I think some of the fundamentals in which you use for like the S&P or the stock market apply to crypto, but because of the volatility in which it has, basically it can go up and down very, very, very quick. It's You can apply some of the fundamentals, but I think with the bigger institutions buying in, some of the old data that used to exist has not reached its point where it's been updated, because you didn't have the bigger institutions buying in back in 2016, 17, or 18. Now that these bigger institutions have been buying in, the analytics are going to be different. So we have to look at the utility of these particular coins and see what their functionality is.
Okay. So are you a stocks and options guy, or you're just a crypto guy?
I like both. I like both because they both teach you something different. And well, you can take those fundamentals, what you talked about at the very beginning, and you can actually analyze a company's data and break it all the way down to see if it's going to make money or not. On the other hand, because of the volatility of crypto, some of it applies and some of it doesn't. So you have to kind of like adjust your way of analyzing that particular stock, because I don't think everything has been put into there yet because of the bigger institutions that are bought in now.
Okay. All right. So I guess burning question would be, what technologies, what are your top crypto technologies, and what are your coin picks, and why? What are you looking to buy in technology, and what would you suggest?
I would suggest looking at the fundamentals and seeing if it solves a problem. one of the biggest things that you can do by looking at is seeing the resources that it either is going to have or it's either solving a problem that currently exists. My stock picks, as far as crypto, I like Ethereum. I like Cardano. I like XRP. I like XRP because of its um, the fundamentals that it has in cross-border payments, and also its ability to move money at a high speed and a high rate and finish transactions. I also I like Doge. I like Doge because crypto is programmable money. And one of the things that people can do is if it doesn't have a utility, they can come in and make it have that utility to fit that particular market. So because it doesn't do something like right now, you can hire programmers to come in and scale it for what you want it to do. That's one of the things about crypto that I like is that if it doesn't do something, you can come in and change that. It just depends on where you want to go in the marketplace with this particular what utility do you want to give it?
Okay, so I guess I have a question here in the chat here, and the question is, are you familiar with Hedera, Hashgraph,
Yes,
HBAR, and if so,
yes.
what is your options? What is your opinion of it?
You know, Hedera is not considered a crypto because of its technology. Um,
Can you explain
but
more?
Hedera,
Can you explain more on that technology and
um,
why it's not considered a crypto?
I don't have it in front of me. I can. It's because of the way that it's made. Um, but I can tell you this about Hedera. You know, Hedera is partnering up with Amazon and a few other big businesses outside. And Hedera is going to be a great buy. It's going to be a phenomenal buy, and especially where it's sitting now. I think it may be at 30 cents somewhere around in there. But yeah, Hedera is going to come onto the market, and we're going to look up one day, and it's going to be like $2 or $3 out of nowhere.
Yeah. What about these? I have a question from E. We'll call him E Miller,
Mm-hmm.
uh, good friend down in San Diego, California. He wants to know about
XR,
XLM and TRX long term.
I think those are great buys long term. Yeah, XLM. Yeah,
And why do you think those are good buy long term?
because they're still finding their niche in the market, and even though they've already kind of found their niche, they're still growing with what it can do and solve and problems that it can solve.
Okay. So let's talk about some of the technologies that you like, and let's go into some of the ones you just mentioned. Can you specifically go into a little more detail on what that technology is solving and why you like it?
Yeah, yeah. So I'll talk about XRP a little bit. XRP is currently having a lawsuit with Securities Exchange Commission, the SEC. It's been delisted in the United States, but it's still functioning in 21 different countries. Um, XRP solves a lot of problems as far as like speed, transactions, cross-border payments, um, finalizing transactions. So um, sending a lot of money really, really, really quick in large amounts, and its ability to cross different languages. So money like the Japanese yen and the American dollar. Well, it can translate that difference.
Okay. I think I'm getting some feedback in the background too on the speaker, some speaker back there. But I got another question from E. He
Yes,
said, "What do you think about these on the screen, Stella? Um, is that Lumens and
Stellar
Tron?
Lumens. Yeah.
Stella Lumens and Tron. What's your thoughts on that?"
Well, one of the things that I like to look at is the utility. Some of these tokens and some of these coins do the same thing. It's just um, which one does it better, you know? And so that's one of the things that I like to like dissect or maybe dive into is, if you're looking at spending your money and you want to put it in a safe place, you kind of want to like do your own homework as far as like analyzing the utility of these coins and what kind of projects they're associating themselves with.
Okay. All right. Shannon Allen hit you with a big thumbs down on the Tron. He doesn't like the Tron. Shannon was on a past show and he gave some comments on that. Here's another one. Speed of transactions. What are your thoughts there?
Well, that's just it. I mean, if you look at the Swift banking system, XRP potentially is looking to replace that. Swift does about $4 trillion a day. So, XRP being a global financial instrument can solve a lot of these problems like overnight. It's just so quick.
Okay. Sounds like you're making some great points there. So it sounds like, Tim, you are an XRP person. That's what it sounds
Well,
like.
that's one of the things. I like XRP, and I really like Ethereum. I look at Ethereum as being like the Google of the blockchain. Okay, like it's one of the fundamental foundation building blocks. Like everybody else builds not everybody, but a lot of different projects are built off Ethereum. You know.
So what's your take between Ethereum and Bitcoin? Because I know there are some Bitcoin haters out there, and then I know there's some
Yeah.
Ethereum. What's your take on those two technologies, and which one are you bigger on?
Well, one of the things that I've been looking at down the road is quantum computing, and quantum computing is going to not only revolutionize information in which we are perceived, but it's going to take us to places that we haven't been. Saying that, I think that eventually the blockchain, the encryption will be cracked due to these supercomputers having the technology in order to break it. And if that happens, then where would Bitcoin go from there? So I'm looking at Ethereum possibly being the predecessor to Bitcoin.
So you're bigger on Ethereum, huh?
Yes, because it actually serves a purpose, and it's more serviceable. You can get more out of it. And if you look at the analytics, Ethereum has outperformed Bitcoin the last 2 or 3 years.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, Patrick, did you I've been going in with a barrage of questions. Do you have any questions here for Tim?
Yes. So, where could one buy? Like, what's the best wallet to buy some of these cryptos, in your opinion?
You said best wallet?
Yes. What are some of your favorite wallets for buying some of these?
I think a wallet is to hold. I thought the buy was an exchange. But go ahead.
Yeah, the exchange. Yeah, I use several exchanges. I use Coinbase. I use Crypto.com. I use Gemini. I use Uphold, and I use Binance also.
Okay. And with XRP,
Yes.
now, how easy is that to get in and out? How liquid is it? Like, because some of these cryptos you might not be able to. I mean, you could buy a crypto with your cash,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you wanted to let's say lock in a profit, maybe you have a gain on a cryptocurrency trade, you have to transfer back to Bitcoin and then back to cash.
Okay.
Is that an issue with XRP?
But no, it's not. I mean, some of these you can actually do on the exchange, and they'll convert all that for you into cash, where you can send your fiat. Say, for instance, you wanted to take your gains, and they'll do all the work. They'll just translate all this stuff for you. You know, they made it a little bit. The exchanges have made it a lot more easier to get your money in and out.
Uh-huh. Okay, so now you mentioned Binance. Now I'm starting to see some of these ads about Binance. I'm not terribly familiar with it. Why would you choose Binance over, let's say, some of these other exchanges?
Because not everything is on every exchange. So normally what I try to do is, like, when I'm buying or searching for crypto, I write down the multiple exchanges in which you can purchase most of the coins on, because that helps you keep your money in one place and you're not as spread out, especially if you're like just getting into the market and really trying to understand it. You don't want to have like 10 different exchanges where you're looking for stuff. So what I do is I write down a list of the ones that I want to buy, and then I try to find the exchange that has the most of them on there. And then that's the one that I'll pick to do most of my trading on, because it has most of the coins that I'm looking for.
Okay.
And then I use CoinDeco. CoinDeco is a really good app that tells you where to find all the currencies and which exchanges they're available on. So it really helps, because you just pull up the app CoinDeco. You type in the you type in the crypto that you're looking for, and then you hit exchange, and then it'll give you a list of all the exchanges where you can find it at.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
that really helps in solving where to buy it and how to get it.
Excellent. Now, could you, I guess you could just try to, you could provide that information. Like, is it like, it's like, can you provide maybe a URL maybe later?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Shannon brings up a good point here and about compromise, and that this is one of the things that concern me about crypto, because when I buy a stock or trade an option, I do not have to worry about this compromise and the hacks and all of that. And then with these newer powerful computers, I forget what you call it, that those ones that use this new algorithm that's just insane, that can break codes and stuff. What are your thoughts on, hacking and then getting your coins stolen? Let's say if you put your coins in a cold wallet, so it's not on a server somewhere, but whatever coin that you're buying gets hacked, so everything starts to fall and go crazy. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are this: what you want to do is you want to practice getting your money off the exchange. So this is something I do. I buy a coin or a token that's not worth that much money. The reason why I may do this is because I want to practice pulling my money off the exchange. The process is going to be very, very, very similar, but the amount of money which you're dealing with and which you could potentially lose when you're dealing, like, say, for instance, if he was doing it with Bitcoin, or if he was doing it with Ethereum, and you're not familiar with the process, you're gonna not like it as much, because you're gonna feel like you're gonna make a mistake. So don't make a mistake with your Bitcoins. Buy something that's very, very cheap, that's pennies, and then practice removing that, because that way, if you lose it, you're not really losing anything of substantial value. So you get to practice getting it off an exchange with something, and then you get familiar with the process in order to move your big stuff off. So you practice on the small stuff. You buy it because the process is going to be very, very similar, but your your fear of losing something is going to go away because you're going to get better at doing this. And if you lose something that's worth, 1 cent, you're not going to feel like, okay, cool. So you can make your mistakes on that stuff, and then you can come back and use that information that you learn to take your bigger stuff off, and you have a lot more confidence with that.
So Tim, you've been doing this since 2013ish. So you've been in the market for like the crypto space for a long time. You go all the way back to the Silk Road. You go way back. So you really know this space. Um, what do you look at to get into the market? How do you, with stocks and options, like what we said before, Patrick and I, we use technicals, we use fundamental analysis, we predict growth, and then when we see a pullback, then we get in. So we have technical indicators. What are your indicators for crypto? I know we have people out here that are interested in buying crypto, but how do you know when to get in?
That's a great question. So this is what I do. I don't write code. I'm not a code guy. Analyzing the white paper and breaking it all down. Those white papers are sometimes 200 and 300 pages. So what do you do if you want to use your own fundamentals? So you look to see if it's a good investment. So you look to see the other investors that are invested in it, and then you look to see its scalability. Is it going to solve a problem? So when you go to the website, say for instance Ethereum. I'll just use Ethereum as an example. You go to Ethereum and you look at all the partnerships in which they have. Okay, these are some of the biggest brands, some of the biggest companies, and that kind of lets you know from an institutional corporate giants are buying in that potentially could be a great buy at this time. Because they see something in it long term and they want to invest in the technology. You don't want to be the one sitting here waiting and you didn't invest. You don't want to become the blockbuster. you don't want to become the blockbuster. And that technology, the way that it's moving at a very, very high rate. So I mean, the ability to look to see who else is involved, the functionality and the utility of it, and what problem is it solving. And that's the good thing about crypto is that it's programmable. So even if it's not solving a problem, but it's already in that area where it needs to. I'll give you an example. Ethereum doesn't do smart contracts, but they have 2 forks that are coming up. So Cardano, does a lot of things that Ethereum can't. But these upgrades, we're going to see these upgrades that are happening in July is going to solve some of the issues that people have with Ethereum, And that's what I mean by being programmable. You're able to go in and say, okay, we got a problem here. It's not doing this. And they say, hey, guess what? We're going to go in and fix this,
Gotcha. So I want to go back to, there's Miss Jams. She's on weekly, and she has some very smart questions. I saw Shannon Allen's response. What's your response to Miss Jam's comment here? Do you have to put these capital gains in your taxes every year, or only when you take distribution?
Only when you sell.
Okay, all right. I saw there's a lot going on up in the chat. We got some good activity here. Hey Patrick, what else do you have, Super?
Yeah, so just on the capital gains part of the tax treatment of cryptocurrency, in the eyes of the IRS, it's looked upon as property, not currency. So it'd be very similar to selling a stock or selling a commodity on an exchange. So even though you might not get a 1099 for a crypto trade, ultimately you do have to report the capital gains and losses on your 1040 tax return.
Yeah.
And it's treated, and then if you sell it within a year, that short-term gain sell with beyond a year, that's long-term gain.
Yep.
Yeah, and Patrick would know. He is an accountant for a prestigious firm out in Los Angeles, and he does taxes for a lot of high-powered people out there in Los Angeles, as well as some friends. So here's a question. Go ahead, Tim.
No, I was going to say, because it's looked at as property, one of the things that you can do is you can take a loan out against it instead of selling it.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's something that's a little bit more down the road that we can talk about a little bit later, but that's just an option that you also have.
So we got another question in the chat. Tony is asking, how much fees should I expect to pay for a $100 transaction?
It's going to depend on which exchange that you put it on. I mean, because each exchange has different criteria as far as like when you're buying stocks. So it's just going to depend. It's going to depend on the exchange.
Wow. Okay. All right. I think Shannon is hitting you with some NBA type questions. Hey, Patrick, go ahead. Did you have additional questions for Tim?
Not at this time.
Yeah, Tim. So I guess, I mean, that's kind of the crypto. I mean, we all trying to understand that space. At least some of us old fogies who are just used to the market and have been wealth builders in the stock market. And in particular, Patrick and I, we talk throughout the week. We talk about our trades, and we're trading weekly, and we're making money weekly. How often do you trade in the crypto space, and what's your recommendations there?
Well, this is what I do. I try to buy weekly. So what I do is I created a system where I pay myself for doing certain things. And then I then take that money at the end of the week and I go and I invest in the crypto. So you're saying paying yourself how? Paying yourself for going to the gym, paying yourself for doing things that get you outside of your comfort zone. The reason why is you want to reward yourself with a certain monetary stipend, and you're going to create a windfall for yourself to go and buy crypto every week. So you take this money at the end of the week, basically it's investing in yourself. So whatever you want to do with it, if it's something that you're doing good, if it's something that you've done good for somebody else, pay yourself. And the reason why you want to pay yourself is because you're going to have money to go buy the dip on Sunday. The stock market, the crypto market dips on Sunday. So I usually use Sunday as a way to leverage my opportunity to buy into the market or find something new that's coming out, a new project that's being rolled out. So you're saying, how do you do this? You do this by paying yourself. All this money adds up at the end of the week. You take that sum of money, whatever it is, or you can just set the sum. You can set the amount yourself, but then you take it and you go and you invest in crypto, or you invested in some stocks. But this way, not only are you investing in yourself, but you're giving yourself an opportunity to have this money actually turn into the eighth wonder, which is compound on top of compound. So that investment, that little $500 investment, turns into $5,000 or $4,000, and now you're feeling good about yourself because not only are you investing in yourself, but you're seeing a financial return on top of educating yourself. And then you take that education and you take that money and guess what you do? You go help somebody else.
That's dope. That's big time. Shannon is asking a question. Lots of money in NBA Top Shot. I thought he was just talking about the NBA, but he's actually talking about some
NFTs.
Yeah. So what is NBA Top Shot, and what do you know about that?
NFT, non-fungible tokens. So this is the rage now. In this particular market, basically it's taking a digital picture or video and turning it and putting it on the blockchain. So they take this image or video and they put it on the blockchain and people can actually bid on it. So this is like a one of a kind type of thing that you can buy for yourself. And also because it's art, one of the biggest things that people may or may not know, but it's just us having a great conversation. Art is one of the biggest tax write-offs that you can have in any space. So basically, art is determined between you and the person who made it. So, like, say for instance, you want to pay me $100,000 for this picture right here. You can say, well, I think it's worth 100. I can say I'm selling it for 100, and you say, agreed. It's also one of the biggest tax write-offs. So it's another way that people use their influence to put their money somewhere where they know that they can actually get it out, and they can write it off.
Interesting.
NFTs are going to be huge. They're going to be huge because the thing about it is it's going to allow for people they can create their own. So there's nothing that would stop somebody from coming in and just saying, well, a bigger company or a bigger industry can create these images and videos because they probably have more access, like the NBA does. But you as an artist, you as a say for instance as a singer or a songwriter, or you as a painter, or as a person that just creates art, you'll be able to sell your images and create NFTs also.
Yeah, what's cool about NFTs too is that you get paid every time it's resold too. So, but Miss Jams had Miss Jams said, "What is NFTs? I think it's non-fungible tokens, but
Yes.
What is NFTs again?" She's saying
it's a non-fungible tokens. It's a piece of digital. It's a piece of digital video, or a picture that's put on the blockchain. And because it's put on the blockchain, you can now it basically authenticates that this particular piece is one of a kind. So it has its own ID, serial number, and everything else. And then you have ownership of it. I mean, you get a chance to have a little bit of, especially if the person becomes big, in some of their artwork, you get a chance to participate in some of that.
Okay, I have a question from Derek Anthony. He's in the chat, and he's saying, "Why is the market down so low this week?" And man, is it a good time to buy, Tim?
I think this is a great time to get in and do a little bit of homework where you want to put your money at. If you look at a couple things, why the market is down, we have a continent, which is China, that just shut down Bitcoin. So they have their own cryptocurrency that they're launching, so they can't compete with that. So what do? They just shut down the exchanges over in China. 70% of the mining operations in which you can produce Bitcoin comes from China. So these people had to flood the market on how to get their money out of where they're going to shut down the exchanges. So it's going to take a little while for that to settle. If you look at 70% of the mining to produce Bitcoin is coming from China, and that's being shut down, look at these other industries that may be able to take advantage of this, like Riot Blockchain, which is an S&P. You're going to have all these other cryptocurrency businesses that are already in this space being able to take advantage of some of this opportunity that's about to come their way.
Okay, so I guess there's a question of what makes art purchases tax deductible. I am missing that correlation.
It's the value in which you put on the art. So the value in which you put on the art is the capital gains are how you're going to write it off. The IRS allows you to do that. And this is how a lot of people offset their losses by saying, well, what is it worth to you? because it's up to you and the person who created it. So you get to say, there's a picture of a banana with a duct tape on it, and it's sold for millions, sold for millions of dollars. So I just use that as an example of what the art is worth to the person that's buying it, and the seller.
Yeah, Patrick, you want to add to that? I mean, you are an accountant.
Yes. Well, essentially, when somebody buys an NFT, that the price at which they buy it at, that's their cost basis. So essentially, what happens is if this NFT goes up in value over time, then that cost basis, just like, just say it's $1 million you paid for this NFT, and then maybe years later it goes up to 2 million, then and you sell it. That will be your capital gain will be $1 million, just like any other property or any art that you would buy. However, there is a tax percentage rate for collectibles, which is 28%. It'd be classified as a collectible in the eyes of the IRS. To the artist who creates this NFT, if they do it often enough, that becomes ordinary income to the artist, because they're in the business of creating this inventory of art. So that would be ordinary income to the artist, and maybe it would be capital gain to someone who just collects it.
Gotcha. Okay, and I wanted to give a shout out to Greg Dawson. He made the Hall of Fame for Tuskegee University football team. It was just announced, at least to me today. So I wanted to shout out. He's the first and only Hall of Famer I know personally. And so shout out to Edward Gregory Dawson for making the Tuskegee University Hall of Fame shrine. So good job there, Dawson.
Congrats.
Yeah, big shout out to him. All right, so what else? Do we have anything else for Tim?
That's been great.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we get all of our questions answered. You get some shout outs. Congrats on the Hall of Famer there, Mr. Dawson. If you're in the house, you were in the house earlier. So Doc is saying, what's up? So Tim.
Yes.
What are you purchasing, man? What are you going to do this upcoming week? What are you doing in the next upcoming weeks in the crypto space?
Well, there is a new crypto that's coming out. I'm researching it today, but it's being backed by a lot of professional athletes. And basically this new crypto that's about to be launched is going to give people an opportunity to give back in a way where you can send a kid to school, you can send a kid to a camp, you can do all these things that are going to help kids get ahead. And it's being backed by a lot of professional athletes. And like I said, I'm doing a little homework on it, but I think it's going to launch this week. And that's what I'm looking into. I always look into like different buying opportunities, especially getting on the ground floor is how you can make a lot of good money, pretty quickly, So as I do my research, I'm going to definitely make sure that I supply you with the opportunity to tell your audience about the currency.
All right.
That's what I'm doing on Sunday. Buy the dip Sunday.
Okay. All right. So it's a crypto Sunday. Hey.
Yes.
Hey, JJ, if you have some questions, join us in the chat. JJ's hitting me on the side. JJ, John Marshall Jones, a staple in Hollywood, and was on our first Celebrity Sunday. So shout out to JJ. A lot of us in here know who he is. Best celebrity on the planet. Yeah, so Miss Jams has a question here. She says this. Can you see that on the screen, guys? James, maybe I have to read it for you. She's saying,
I can see it.
what is convert to fiat? Shannon above EXT. Yeah. Can you answer that? I did not completely understand the question,
Yes.
but I'm not a crypto guy. I thought you could answer it, and I want to make sure.
I think what she's asking is, how do you convert it to fiat currency, the any cryptocurrency that we discuss?
Okay. You answer that question, please.
Normally it's on the exchange. Like basically when you convert your crypto and you want to turn it back into fiat, you basically are taking that cryptocurrency, turning it into, say for instance, US dollars. And then if you want to take that fiat and put it back into your bank, you know, that's what these exchanges will do. They'll allow you to convert your crypto into fiat, where you can put it back into your bank account.
Yeah, and which ones do it the best in
Coinbase.
your opinion?
Yeah, Coinbase does it really, really good. They make it so user friendly. It's just basically almost like Amazon with a couple of clicks, and you know they got it where it just does it. It isn't like you have to have a mathematics degree in order to to do this now. They've got it really simplified, and that's what makes it so appealing to other people now. Is that once they get on the exchange, they're able to see how easy it is to trade and get your money on and off.
Yeah,
I
and
think Cash App is also one of the better ones, because I've been experimenting with that with small amounts of money.
also you got you some cryptos, Patrick. You made it happen.
Yeah, I do have a little bit. I mean, to me, this is like Las Vegas type of money. So to me, it's kind of gambling, because I'm not really much into crypto. But I thought, okay, how about $20 here, $20 here? That's not gonna.
Yeah, and Shannon is out there blasting the whole fiat currency is not real money. We had James LeGrand blasting fiat currency too. Man, if you guys want to see a dope episode, go back a few weeks ago and look at James LeGrand breaking down knowledge. I actually go back and look at those episodes where he's talking about precious metals and currency. It's just a mastery display of why you should spread your investment and diversify like into other avenues. So because of him, I'm actually looking at silver. So good stuff there. What else, Patrick? Should we kind of wrap up if there's not any additional crypto questions? Patrick, do you have enough time to share what you were going to share before you leave, or do we not have enough time and we have to do it next week?
I think we have enough time.
Okay.
Just on a final note about crypto.
Yes, sir.
Tom Lee, who is a very influential contributor to CNBC, he is saying even amid this decline that you've seen in the market in Bitcoin, he predicts that the Bitcoin shall rise from this current price. I think it's around 40,000 or so to 100,000 by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you see the institutional guys going crypto. I have not made that leap yet. Just have not. But I'm looking at Shannon is pushing me towards. Not he is pushing me, but based on what Shannon was talking about with Hashgraph and HBAR, I'm kind of leaning that way. But then, Tim, you've been in this game, since like 2013, and you're a big Ethereum guy. You're a big XRP guy.
XRP.
XRP. Sorry,
That's all right. No, you're good.
Yeah. So, should I go Hashgraph, because that's the way I was leaning. I was leaning towards HBAR.
HBAR is going to be beautiful, man. You cannot go wrong with HBAR. You can't go wrong with HBAR. Hedera. It's
Yeah,
called Hedera.
yeah,
Yeah.
Hedera. Yeah.
Yes.
Patrick, what did you get, Patrick? What did you buy? Some Ethereum or what did you buy?
No, it's just mostly Bitcoin.
Okay.
But if I had to buy some more cryptocurrency, I think I would go Ethereum.
Yeah. If Ethereum seems that it, has that usage case, right? They
That
really have.
usage case, and it's going to continue to grow. If you look at the last 2 to 3 years, it's outperformed Bitcoin. You know, I think it's going to continue to do that because more and more projects keep getting put onto the Ethereum platform.
Okay. All
So I
right.
look at Ethereum as a big operating system.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, Tim, you're out there. Are you in? Where are you in Chicago right now or Detroit?
I'm in Detroit.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Detroit, Detroit
Yes.
native. Detroit makes
All
some
right.
great
All right,
guys,
man.
man. Okay. So if you want to hang with us, Patrick's gonna do a market outlook. Otherwise, you can stick around if you like. Uh, Patrick, let's go into your market outlook before we wrap up the show. Just kind of share what kind of things you and I are looking at, and how to make some money in the stock market is what we do. So
Okay, so I'm just gonna go to my screen real quick. Just give me one moment. So I believe, just in a nutshell, that the market may be peaking a bit in the short term, and I'll just discuss some of the various trading strategies you could engage in to take advantage of that. Just give me 1 second as I try to share my screen. So right here, well, this is the chart of the SPY, which is a chart that tracks the S&P 500 very, very closely. Can you all see that? Hello?
no, Patrick, I'm just seeing Patrick's iPad. I'm not actually seeing his screen. I'm not sure
Oh,
if
okay.
that's just me
Okay.
or.
Give me one moment. Okay, I'm not sharing it. Sorry.
All
I
right.
thought it was.
Okay.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes, it's beginning to share. Yes.
Okay. All right. So here I'm showing this chart of the S&P 500 spider, and I believe that since it's becoming close to this higher Bollinger Band, it may be a little bit pricey, especially as it's near an
Hey,
all-time
Patrick,
high.
sorry to interrupt, but you're going to have to blow that up. I always get comments that on the iPhone, when we go through these charts, you cannot see them on the phone. And
Yeah.
so you have to really blow it up exponentially so that you can actually see it on an iPhone. But sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt. Go ahead, sir, please.
Yeah. This is good. I can get it here without distorting the numbers here. But anyways, I'd like to just talk about it. I think that the S&P, which is the broader market, is showing that the overall market might be a little bit pricey as it's coming to an all-time high, as indicated by the by nearing the top end of the Bollinger Band. Over the long run, of course, the market should continue to move higher because the 50-day moving average is still tilting upwards, whereas the 20-day moving average is kind of flattened from an upwards trend. So to me, that may indicate that there might be a little bit of a pullback coming up. And the same thing is indicated by the QQQ here. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's nearing again the top of the upper Bollinger Band, and even though it hasn't hit the top of the Bollinger Band, again, caution I think is needed. So you may want to engage in some various um, uh, bearish hedging activity, or you might want to get into some options trades that will maybe bet on the temporary downwards movement in the market. And same thing with this one tech stock that has really rallied close to an all-time high. Again, it's nearing the top of the top end of the Bollinger Band. And then finally, I'll show you the stock chart of Goldman Sachs, which is a financial, which has really done well in this inflationary, well, this higher growth, maybe more elevated price environment, and an environment with higher interest rates, slightly higher interest rates. The Goldman Sachs again has is getting close to an all-time high and the top end of the Bollinger Band, which may indicate that a top is near, and you might want to engage in various bearish type of hedging or taking opportunities of the downside potential. So I would say over the next week or two, you might see the market hit an all-time high and then come back and retest this 20-day moving average of each and all of these various stocks, ETFs, and from various industries. That's just my take of it right now.
Can you go back to AMAT?
Yes.
So Applied Materials is a stock that we've been talking about quite a bit.
Yes.
Just want to, and if you can pull the screen up a little bit so that we can see where it is on the Bollinger Band.
1 second. Yeah. Let me scroll down some.
Yes, sir.
So right now, the Bollinger is at the top end of the Bollinger Band. So to me, that indicates, again, it's topping out a bit. The 50-day moving average still looks positive. So the overall trend, I think, is still intact. However, if you look at this 20-day moving average right here, has crossed below the 50-day moving average. So to me, that's may not necessarily be a death cross, but it's a bearish indicator that there may be short-term pain ahead for the stock.
Yeah, for sure. Let me, if you can blow that up a little more, Patrick. Yeah. So just looking at that.
I can get it.
Yeah, and so just for those who there are some people that are investing, right? And then there are some people that are investing and trading, and that's what you and I do, Patrick. We have long-term investment. That's where you really make the big money, to be honest. And then the short-term trades are where you can make, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a week, or $500, depending on how much you're trading. But looking at this Bollinger Band here, that top line on the Bollinger Band, that's a clear indicator that the stock is going too far away from its normal trading range, which is the middle line. So that's an indicator that one should sell if they're doing a trade, because stocks mean revert, meaning that when the stock hits the top of that Bollinger Band, it's going to revert back to the middle. And then if it shoots past the middle and go to the bottom Bollinger Band, then it's going to revert back up. So the buy indicator was a little bit to the left, where you see at the bottom of the Bollinger Band. That was the opportunity to put on the trade if one were to buy call options to leverage and make money. And then you can see that it mean reverted, went past the middle, and now AMAT, Applied Materials, is near the top of the Bollinger Band. So this is a good time to put on a put if one were trading, and put a put out for a couple of months. And within that couple of months, because of the law of mean reverting, that stock should go back towards the middle and it's going to bounce back and forth, up and down between that top line in the middle or the bottom line in the middle. And whenever you hit the top, that's a good opportunity to sell, get out of the trade, or start a new trade with a bearish put or short, and then you get out at the middle. That's kind of how we trade. And then at the bottom, when the stop price is at the bottom of the Bollinger Band, that's when you get into the trade. And one could get out at the middle, but if you're really bullish and believe the stock is going to go up and just continue to have momentum, then you just ride that stock all the way to the top of the Bollinger Band. But then that's your exit, because once you hit the top of the Bollinger Band, you're too far away from the middle, which is the normal trading range. And so that's your indication to get out. So I just wanted to just share that. We talk Bollinger Band. We use it as a technical indicator for trading. This is for trading. So for those who want to make that, $500 or so within a week or 7 days or 1,000, 2,000, it's absolutely possible using the Bollinger Bands, and we're living proof of it. So I just wanted to add that, Patrick.
Yeah. As well, I think a lot of you this is also confirmed by an increasingly more expensive RSI, or a higher RSI. It may not look so bad on the S&P 500 because it still looks like it's in a bullish trend. The 20-day moving average doesn't cross. But if you look at, let's say, the QQQ here, there's been a crossover by the shorter term below the longer term moving average, and here you'll see that the RSI is starting to get a little bit overvalued. Same thing with AMAT, and same thing with Goldman Sachs.
Shout out to Andy George in the house. Yeah, so great indicators there, and those what we use for trading. But again, Patrick, just to let the audience know, the big money is in investing. The big money is what Tim talked about earlier, which is the eighth wonder, which is compound interest. There's nothing that can beat a long-term investment in some great stocks or ETFs. And you can stop sharing, Patrick, versus doing a trade to make a quick $500, $1,000, $2,000 or so in a week. That money sounds like a lot of money, but it does not compare to buying and holding a stock for 10 years and keep accumulating a particular stock. It's not even close. But, my truck broke down this weekend, Patrick. Not this week, but last week. I did a trade. I showed you yesterday, right? I showed you the trades I did. Sold some call spreads, and, my truck, my little Navigator. I drive older cars because they're bad investments. They're not even investment, they're liabilities that they do not go up in value. So I drive older vehicles, and meaning they used to be new, but I have held them for 20 years. But anyway, my old Lincoln Navigator broke down, and it cost me $800 and some bucks. So I did a trade on Wednesday to pay for it. So I try not to pay for stuff like that out of my earned income from my job. I pay for it with trades. And certainly the extra money, like you do, Patrick, I know you put your trade money towards more investments. Would you like to speak on that?
Yeah, so essentially, I look at investments as a tree and fruit. So essentially, you want to maintain the tree because that's what's going to bear the fruit. The fruit would be like the interest, the dividends, maybe the passive capital gains that you may earn in an ETF or a mutual fund. And then that's what you should use to pay for maybe some of your, maybe pay for a trip or pay for some of your living expenses if you have to use that money. But if you don't, then you can use the fruit as fertilizer for the tree to build an even bigger and wider tree. And that's when you retire, then you can live off the income from the tree that bears that fruit.
Yeah, and I like that, Patrick. I mean, that's just smart stuff. And why do we do what we do, and we do not get paid for it or anything? We do it because I mean, we just share the knowledge because you and I both have a system that we use that works for us.
Yes.
And then we try to bring on others who have similar financial literacy and knowledge where they can share, their best practices. That's what this whole Bet Out of Debt is about. So good stuff, Patrick. Miss Jans, we did not get to your FVANF volatility or goodbye. Sorry about that, Tim. I didn't get an opportunity to ask Tim before he left the show. So sorry about that. And I think that is it mostly for today, Patrick. It was really a crypto show with a market outlook. Patrick, are you going to put on some additional trades? You know what trades I have on? I have on, what was that trade I have on for Friday? I have like 3 trades on.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing some additional trades. I know that I closed out a trade on SMH, and I was able to collect some premium, and I got reassigned when I actually bought some stock through a previous assignment, and basically got my money back. So it worked out well.
Yep. And I know you have a birthday coming up, and
Yes.
we were talking about doing the show in Las Vegas where you have your rental property and you're thinking about buying another home out there. So
Yeah.
I will be putting on some trades to pay for that Las Vegas trip, and I want the trade to pay for first class because I'm 6'4", I'm a big guy. So coach is not it. But if that price is 3 times the coach price, my big behind would be in coach. So, and then, Miss Jams, maybe next week we can get to your questions. So we appreciate it. And Eddie George, thank you for everything you do for my son Elijah. And they're 6-0 in high school basketball here in Seattle. Eddie George is the coach of my son. He's also really connected. His brother was a player in the NBA, and Eddie is a retired professional basketball player overseas as well. And so blessed to have him in our life. Man, you need to go and see that interview he did with Kwame Brown, Devin, Eddie George's brother, with Kwame. It's powerful, man. Very powerful stuff. So I think that is it, and I think it's about time to wrap up the show for this week. So let's wrap it up, Patrick.
Yes.
This is the Bet Out of Debt show. We call it the Bet Out of Debt because when you place a trade, it's called placing a bet. And bet is kind of a metaphor for an investment. So hopefully it's a winning one to keep you out of debt. And as always, keep investing, and we will see you next time. And as always, we'll be back. So take care.